Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome back to Project Manchala. My name is Mohammed Abbas Merchant. I am your host. If you're tuning in for the very first time, I am a photographer and filmmaker based in Karachi, Pakistan. And this is my podcast where I talk about literally anything and everything under the sun that catches my curiosity. Today, I have my very good friend Salman Barry on board, and we're going to be talking about something that he is personally very interested about, which is tech. Anything tech related, Salman is always your guy. Gonna kick it over to Salman so he can introduce himself to you guys. Salman?
All right, like he said, my name is Salman Bari. Once again, yeah, he's absolutely right. I love tech. I have a pre-built PC that I built myself here. I'm a full-on gamer boy. I have my mechanical keyboard right here. So yeah, so what we're going to talk about today, which is in contrast to what Abbas said, not anything. We're going to be talking about the one and only Apple.
Okay, so Apple did something very interesting, literally, I believe, 24 hours ago, where they released AirPods Pro Max. So this card, I
They
believe,
haven't
both of
released
us,
it, but yeah, they announced it.
they announced it.
Yeah.
They announced AirPods Pro Max, and I think this was something that caught both of us really off guard, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah, honestly.
okay,
Yeah,
but
there's so
did
much to
anyone ask
unpack
for
here.
this?
I would say no, because you need to also consider all of the things that Apple has under its belt. One of the things being Beats, which already has headphones. We're gonna get into this, so let's start. So yesterday we get an announcement on Apple's official YouTube page. There has been no what do you call what's the word for it?
The Apple
No
event,
official
whatever?
event, no nothing.
Yeah,
It
so
just came out of
there's no
nowhere.
event or anything.
Yeah, so it came out of nowhere, and it's Apple Pods Pro Max. Oh, AirPods Max. Sorry, I keep forgetting the name. So there's just these open air headphones that you can put on. They have aluminum side panels, but honestly, I don't think they're that good. I don't think they're worth the price either. So let's talk about that.
So, Acha, the first thing when I saw it scrolling down YouTube was I was like, what the hell is this? So the video had been out for about an hour. So I watched it, it's like 2 minutes long or something. I sent it to Salman. I'm like, dude, did you see this? He's like, what the hell? When was this released? So we watched the video and then we're texting on WhatsApp and we're like, okay, we need to talk about this. We need to do another episode immediately and just talk about this. So my first
Yeah, which
impression
is very convenient. Yeah.
So my first impression being, who asked for this? Like, I mean, is there a need for this? And like you mentioned, Apple already has Beats technically under their loop. So, I mean, is there a need for this? Did anyone ask for this? And I mean, the first question would obviously be the sound quality and everything, right? How much better is it going to be? And do these offer noise cancellation? Because I didn't see anything about that.
They do. Yeah, they do have noise cancellation.
So the question again is going to be like, so how good is the sound quality, and then how good is the noise cancellation going to be? Because initially, when Apple released AirPods Pro, I feel like everyone had that same sort of question: okay, oh, how good is the sound cancellation, the sound quality, and then the noise cancellation? And I believe everyone had their doubts. Everyone was very skeptic in the start because they're like, oh, they're earphones. So how good can the noise cancellation be? And then everyone was pleasantly surprised, I believe. And myself being one of those, because I had used your headphones, the Bose. Which ones are these? The ones you're using?
QC35s. The Bose
QC35s.
QC35s.
And this was my first impression of noise cancellation. And for me, the first time I had them on, it was very jarring, and my head hurt just a bit. Just even of having them on for a few minutes. But then using these right now, I personally really like these over that. Although obviously the sound quality isn't as good as yours, but I personally prefer the noise cancellation on these better because it's a little more comfortable. It's not too heavy that it's going to start hurting, even if I'm wearing them for a couple of hours. And yeah, over to you, Simon. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So there's a lot to unpack. So let's go back to what Apple has done in the past, because I think that's the best way to deconstruct what has happened. So Apple has an amazing ability of making people buy shit that they don't want. But even when you come into that, there's always that one but that makes it so utterly convenient that no one can actually compete with it. This was the case when iPhone removed the headphone jack with the iPhone 7, I believe, and introduced the AirPods. They had created a need from their own decision and provided a device that gave into that demand. But here's the thing: they knew the problems with Bluetooth. They knew that people hated pairing and stuff, so that's why people were pissed. So they introduced something that people didn't even know was possible, and that was the AirPods with its inbuilt Apple chip. I can't remember exactly which one. I think it's the W1, which provided this seamless pairing process. And it was only limited to Apple devices. So only an AirPod and this could actually do it, or some select Beats headphones. So it was really interesting to see how they would try to justify this. Because what confuses me is that Apple has owned Beats for a really long time, and they have released over-ear headphones with the same W1 chip, with the same amount of comfortability that what do you call not comfortability, the convenience that the AirPods provided, but in a bigger package. So it's essentially just a Beats headphone that is already being provided by Apple in an overpriced price. Again, that also one is like $500. The only difference is this one has an Apple logo on it, and you can put an emoji on it.
So I feel like that's very interesting, the thing that you pointed out. Okay, Apple has a habit, or at least has had it, for at least since the iPhone 7, wherein they create a problem and then provide a solution for it as well, and then basically cater that to its audience, right? They created it with the iPhone 7, where they removed the headphone jack and they were like, oh, okay, so what do you do? So AirPods. But if you don't want to do that because you don't get them with their proprietary packaging or whatever, you can just get this small dongle that used to come at least with the packaging until very recently, and you can just connect your earphones that way. But again, that created the issue where you could listen to your earphones and then charge at the same time. So I'm very interested to see how Apple is going to package these headphones, because like you said, Apple has owned Beats for a very long time, and I feel like, again, there wasn't a need for these. If they wanted to implement something a little differently, they probably could have just released another sort of version of the Beats, like Apple X Beats or something like that, right? And then just package those in this sort of manner, like नया product निकालने की क्या जरूरत है? Because I feel like this could hurt Beats की sales, which already aren't the best. Like, I don't know too many people who use Beats.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean, Beats
because they are
headphones.
overpriced, but they are sexy.
Yeah, but that's primarily the appeal, right? It's just that they look good. They don't sound the best or not the most comfortable. And it's primarily just, the whole packaging experience. You feel like you're getting a luxury product. And to a certain extent it is. But after using better headphones for quite some time now, I realized that Beats really weren't all that. Like, I feel like jo Beats Solo the, which I feel like everyone had a craze around 2012, 2013. Is that when they came out? The original,
the Beats Solos. Yeah,
those were actually worth it. I personally loved those, and I had a copy version of them for the longest
yeah,
time.
and that was before Apple owned it, though.
So I mean, that I feel like there's a correlation there as well, right? Okay, did Apple sort of on purpose lower them?
No, I wouldn't say there's a correlation. I think they went to that point where they're more marketing and celebrity and sexiness rather than actual device, and that's where Apple saw, oh, this is exactly our business strategy. Let's just swoop them up right now.
I mean, they're not wrong, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, because you could see this as a way of integrating the Beats headphone into the Apple logo, because there's still a disconnect between that. It's two separate entities, and they want it under the Apple name. Especially with all the shit that's going on with the tech industry right now, that is forcing companies to split what they own to separate their monopolies. For example, Facebook is being told to give away WhatsApp, stuff like that. So maybe some conspiracy silver hat stuff there, but it's not just the reasoning of it. It's like $500. Let's go to the quality, like you said. We can't tell anything about sound, but from what we've seen, aluminum headphones, mesh top, it's hideous. It is legitimately the most hideous pair of headphones I've ever seen.
For sure.
Especially, so you pay for a headphone. So I'll show you a difference. Give me a second. I have these, what do you call? I can't remember, Logitech G502s or something. They're like a headphone. So these have the mesh pressure and
turn
the
them
mesh
towards the camera?
top.
Yes. Brilliant. Thank you.
So these have the mesh, cufflinks and mesh tops. And the reason I never wear these anymore is because these are the most comfortable pair of headphones I've ever owned. And the reason for that is because they have Alcantara and proper cotton paddings. And Alcantara is this amazing material. It's like this amazing fabric that kind of has memory foam properties, and it's great to use for long periods of time. So when I see this Apple ones, and the only head support they have is this thin ass mesh, like a really cheap office chair, it kind of makes me think it's not going to be comfortable to wear for a while, especially if it's aluminum, meaning it's heavy and it's pulling down in your head.
Mm. I mean, it's interesting to say the least, right? I mean, I think I feel like we're doing everything that everyone does. Okay, whenever a new Apple product is announced, we're going to be very skeptic. We're going to badmouth it quite a bit, and then it comes out and it might just be decent. I'm not going to say good.
Yeah, it might just be decent. Yeah, but it's like this time it's not introducing anything. Like with the AirPods, I told you it had the convenience. But everything that the AirPods Max is trying to accomplish has already been done. There are some big Beats headphones I wouldn't be able to tell you the model number that have the same W1 chip as the AirPods. So it provides that instant pairing access, noise cancellation, literally anything you need. So who is this catering to if we already have those chips in the Beats? And especially it's the Apple people that love buying Beats because of the marketing, PR strat.
Maybe this
have.
is Apple's way of finally, going towards catering towards like the actual pro market, wherein they're trying to cater to creators. Maybe, I mean, I wouldn't personally go as far to say that. That's their
but
plan,
from what I hear, yeah, from what I hear, the headphones only have a single driver, and in terms of what professionals actually use, this is not catered to professionals. It's catered to people who want something Apple on their ears.
I mean, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see what direction these headphones are going. Maybe I feel like it's a little too soon to start judging already, but I want at least a first impression to go out there. So let's move on to our second topic.
Yeah, but we do have some others. The portless iPhone.
We're gonna move to that.
Is that what we're talking about, or did I jump the shark?
No. Yeah. We jumped just a bit. So the first thing that I want to talk about that I feel like a lot of people are currently buzzing about are the M1 Max. Now, this is something that I currently kill to get my hands on. Dude, they're so good. Like, I've seen some of the benchmarks.
They're legitimately good Apple products.
And one of the filmmakers and photographers that I follow, he basically showed a review of a base model MacBook Pro, the 13-inch version. So that's 8 GB RAM, 128 gig SSD, and like basically bilkul basic quality cheese. And that man was editing 4K footage, had After Effects running in the background, and then was also editing photos on Capture One all simultaneously. And the fans did not kick up once. Not even once.
Yeah. It's bloody insane. So I see this as an opportunity to explain what an ARM processor is. So an ARM processor is nothing new. This isn't new. We've had Microsoft trying to introduce into the ARM market. The problem is your phones are powered by ARM processors, and they have, due to their size, the battery, and nature, the development cycle for this has forced them to become as efficient as possible. So we've reached a point where ARM chips are actually more efficient than x64, even though an x64 one has more raw performance power, but it doesn't matter since the integration of an ARM chip to talk to the hardware is a lot faster. So what happens now is that a lot of companies are trying to move towards ARM. We've had Windows for ARM for a really long time now, but it's not kicking off. So let's talk about what the Mac does differently and why they succeed. So rather than having third-person integrations like Snapdragon or anything, Apple uses its own inbuilt chips that they have developed for the iPhones and mastered over the years. It's why the iPhones can work so much better than a OnePlus 8, even though it has 4 gigabytes of RAM, a smaller battery, and that's why you just don't look at the raw performance.
The iPads and the iPhones have become just in the past few years, because you also had the what was it called? The integration of the Magic Keyboard. Was it the Magic Keyboard, the new iPad keyboard that they were calling it? or what were they calling it?
Yeah, I think it was called the Magic Keyboard.
The Magic
Yeah, it
Keyboard,
was the
whatever
Magic
it's called,
Keyboard.
right? The new iPad keyboard. And that has legitimately become a very reliable desktop replacement for a lot of people, right? Okay, I see creators no longer carrying around their MacBooks because they're like, oh, this does relatively the same job now. And seeing as also how Apple is slowly trying to integrate their software across the board, where iPhone is slowly becoming like iPad, iPad is slowly becoming like Mac OS. I think
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
also that sort
yeah.
of integration that's coming along, right? So seeing as how Apple is now taking this big step where they're using their own chips, their own sort of processors and everything all together, right? The jump that this has taken in production quality, Tyler Stallman, the creator that I was talking about, the fact that he was using a base model for a lot of heavy work. I believe he was using an EOS R or an EOS R5 for the 4K footage. I'm not entirely sure, but 4K footage on DaVinci Resolve, and his computer did not kick up once. And that's saying a lot. Like I have the same exact
Yeah.
model, but the 2017 version. As much as I love this computer, it kicks up the fans a lot more than I would like. And this thing runs hard. It runs hotter than I would like it to. But seeing that this exact same computer, literally 3 years apart, and with just a few minor changes, well, I wouldn't say minor changes, but some changes, and it completely changes the game entirely. And the fact that these computers are now being
Yeah.
marketed towards not only your everyday consumer, but then you're also your creators who are like professionals in their
Yeah.
fields. It's amazing what you can do now. One of my best friends is about to get a
Yeah.
new M1 computer, and I'm just like, dude, I would kill to be in your position right now. Because she's not only just
Yeah,
going to be getting,
honestly, those are amazing.
she's going to not only going to be getting a higher end version than the one I saw online, but genuinely it's just going to be an insane machine because I believe she's going to be getting 16 GBs of RAM. I'm not sure which SSD she's going for, whether it's 256 or 512, because I believe the 512 isn't available as of yet.
No, they
But
still provide the 128 one.
exactly. So, because I think actually Apple
Yeah.
की website पे 256 भी available था, because I don't know, but I think they're
No,
not.
no,
They're
I'm
only
saying they
releasing.
still provide the option for the 150.
Oh, okay.
I'll check. I'll check quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that I want to, yeah. No,
yeah,
you
go for it.
continue. Okay. So one thing that I do want to plug in is how Apple has managed to make this as successful as it is. Because here's the truth of the matter: the only company that can do an ARM what do you call transition on a PC is Apple at the moment. Because honestly, their app market is so small, but they have a dedicated fan base for those apps that Windows will never be able to do it because their x64 conversion and transition sucks. So the only company that is managing to do this so well with the least amount of compromises would be Macs. Because when you buy a Mac as a professional or as a normal consumer, what apps do you buy it for? You don't buy it for Adobe. You buy it for Final Cut. You buy it for all the stuff in the App Store. You don't buy it for gaming because God help me, God help that. Not gonna comment on gaming on Mac. Ironically, this is going to be faster for gaming on Mac than an actual graphics card.
I think that's also the only thing that's holding
have this
Macs
video
back, right? Gaming. That's the only thing that they're lacking right now. I feel like if
from the sheer market,
fixes, if somehow this gets fixed, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of gamers shifted to Macs. I would not be surprised if they somehow figured out how to fix it.
Because so I saw this video by Peter McCollin. He's like a camera guy. He's also a creator. So his video showed his $3,000 laptop, which was like a Ryzen 7, a GTX 3080 Ti, 3080, not Ti. So what he's doing, he's encoding the same 4K video on his laptop and on his iPhone XS Max. So what he does is he starts at the same time. But since due to the amazing integration of an iPhone XS, the phone processor managed to finish that within 2 minutes, while the computer was taking upwards to 11 minutes of time, even though it's the same encoding, same HDR standard, same. So it was like a point to those people who are like, it doesn't have any tensor cores or whatever the hell they like to say.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, because again, when you're comparing to Apple, you can't look at numbers.
You can't, because Apple, the biggest seller that Apple has is the fact that their software and then their hardware work so well together. It's an insane jump in performance. And it's amazing that sometimes people don't associate, the performance with, irrespective of how the numbers are showing you. And that it was also a very similar case with the EOS R, which came out a couple of years ago. The specs weren't all that great, but eventually
Oh,
people
what?
started using it. The Canon EOS R, one of the
The
first
what?
Canon's pro
Okay, okay,
mirrorless
okay.
line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The camera. Yeah, I remember the controversy behind that.
Mhm.
All right.
So people were like, "Oh, the specs are kind of lackluster, right? I mean, for the sort of stuff that Canon's already releasing in their DSLR market, this seems not that great." But then when people
Yeah.
started using it and got their hands on it, they were just like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! It could be better for sure, but this is really good for the thing that it's providing." And Canon did the same. Slowly but surely, they're getting there, but obviously they're gonna have their hiccups. But I definitely feel like Apple is doing certain things really, really right to it. Like I have a Windows machine and I also have my MacBook. But when it comes down to efficiency and just wanting to get general work done, I will always prefer my Mac over Windows. And that's being a Windows user for a
Yeah.
majority of my life. I would still pick Mac right now.
Yeah. Same. I use my Windows as my main computer. I run Windows off of a Linux, what do you call, VMware.
Hmm.
But as a laptop, I was always going to prefer a Mac because of how long the battery lasts, how efficient they are, and how fast I can get in and get out of my work. And here's the thing, it's because of this sheer efficiency that Mac products have the biggest lifespan of any other products on this bloody planet. We have had my MacBook 2015 still runs perfectly, flawlessly. The iPhone 6, I think, is still getting updates,
Hmm.
6S or 6, even though those phones came out who knows how many years ago.
Hmm.
So it just makes it amazing. So Apple does have some genuinely good products, and they do have a good price comparison ratio. Like your AirPods Pro, I think you're wearing in your ear at the
Hmm.
moment.
Yep.
They are amazing. When they were announced, I loved them so much because for the
Hmm.
active noise cancellation sound, there was nothing else in the market that could compete to an AirPods Pro. AirPods Pro, and there still isn't. But then there's other things that Apple just doesn't do well. So plugging back to the topic where Apple introduces
Ooh.
a product and removes something, let's go on to our next topic.
Okay, so next topic being portless iPhones. Now, Apple hasn't said anything about this. This is pure speculation that in a couple of years, this is the direction we're going, given the fact that with the iPhone 12 and then iPhone 11, they're slowly starting to remove stuff from the boxes, right? Not only did they remove the dongle, but with the iPhone 12, they've also removed the charging brick, and then the earphones as well, unless I'm mistaken, and then obviously the dongle. So
They removed everything. It's literally just the phone now.
just no, they also have the wire, I believe, at least wired and then
Yeah, the
tethered.
cable and phone just basically is like
Yeah, and then
distant
the
now.
cable obviously is USB-C to Lightning now. So,
Yeah, which means you have to buy another brick.
acha,
Even though they
so
bullshitted that
dumber.
everyone has a brick at house. Yeah,
That's so stupid. That's so stupid because I
yeah,
know quite a few people who shifted from Android to iPhone because of the iPhone 12, especially the iPhone 12 mini,
yeah.
because of the performance that you can get in such a small form factor. It's insane that Apple would take a decision like this to go portless somewhere down the line rather than shifting to USB-C, because I get why they may want to, but then this produces more challenges than it solves, right? Because the issue first and
Yeah, but
foremost being
they've already
Mhm.
solved one of it.
with
The
MagSafe.
magnet path, the magnetic, yeah, the
Uh,
MagSafe.
I mean,
So
the
we know
MagSafe
why they
sounds
introduced
great.
it.
I mean, it sounds great in concept, right? But if they're trying to sort of recreate the magic that they had with the original MacBook, this is not the same thing, right?
Yeah,
And
this
it
is not the same thing at all.
and this is also basically just
But
their
like,
bet to slowly go towards this sort of thing. I hope they don't. But what do you think? What are they going to do with this?
I think Apple is going to be brave enough to make the leap.
Hmm.
So I
Maybe,
do
yeah.
genuinely think within 2 iPhone generations, we're going to have a portless iPhone. It's going to be the sexiest phone out there. Everyone's going to criticize about it, and then we're all going to accept it like the Apple chiefs that we are.
Okay, I get that. I really do. But 2 generations, don't you think that's way too soon? That's like 2 to 3 years at best.
That's what we said about our Macs. But here they are, and they're here
Okay,
to
but
stay, and it turned out to be
talking
amazing.
about ARM Max for like years now. Like we've been genuinely talking about ARM for like
Yeah,
5-6
but
years
nobody
now.
saw it coming this year. Nobody saw it coming this year at all. They thought that it would be in the pipeline for like a lot longer than it was, because they had just announced it like a previous year ago.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
so absolutely no one saw that coming. So, but
don't you think
it
they want to
became
shift
clear
to
to us that
USB-C
all.
first before they want
No,
to
I'll
take a
tell you
jump like
why.
this?
So I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Because by shifting to USB-C, they're gonna give people something that they love, and they can't do that. They're Apple.
Fair enough.
So when you here's the thing, we know they're gonna go portless. It's like it's impossible that they won't go portless in the future. But why would you introduce USB-C if people become attached to it and hate you even more for removing it? Rather than that, just remove it altogether before you go to USB-C.
Well, I mean,
but
yeah, that sounds like a very Apple thing to do.
Yeah, although I have even more stuff to like talk about here. Data transferring. How are you going to transfer data when I don't think we can wirelessly transmit data through MagSafe right now. I don't think we have any wirelessly transmitting standard at the moment other than Wi-Fi. So,
but let me ask you,
what I
when
think
was
is
the
going to
last
happen?
time you connected your phone to your computer?
You can't ask me that. That's an unfair question. I do this shit all the time. But as an average consumer, I can see, yeah.
Because like I mean, I've had iPhones for a couple of years.
Jailbreaking.
Okay, fair enough.
No,
I feel
iPhone,
like you might have that.
Android,
but, no, okay, fair,
yeah, exactly. Sure. It's not a fair question to ask me. I'm not the average consumer.
Yeah, okay. So you're not the average consumer, but just for me as a person, right? I personally haven't connected my iPhone to my computer in ever. Like I don't think I've ever connected my iPhone to my MacBook ever. Like ever since I've had this thing, I had this thing for almost roughly 3 years now, because I got this in my second year of A levels. But no one's connected that. And then like I think the last phone that I connected was my iPhone 5, which I had I don't even know how many years ago. So given the fact that data transfer, I get the fact that you want to do data transfer through your computer, but data transfer isn't that bad online either, right? Like Google Drive and all of these things, they provide you a very streamlined process.
Yeah, with iCloud and all that, I understand that. But Apple wants you to use these things as a professional standard. They want you to use your iPhone as a webcam or an iPhone as a camera to make your professional child movies. And for that, there will obviously be a solution. And from what I'm trying to say is that with the new ARM Max coming, which will be compatible with WN and once sub, I can imagine an Apple proprietary wireless transfer standard like AirDrop that we've had for so long, but even faster. Something like Xiaomi does. So this is a feature of a Xiaomi laptop that no Windows has adopted so far. So if you have a Xiaomi laptop and a Xiaomi phone, they have a feature where if you put your phone on their the trackpad, on the laptop's trackpad, you have instant data connection, instant data transfer, and all that stuff. So I'm imagining Apple will probably go down that route to even more closely isolate its data transfer strategies so that people can only stay in the ecosystem. And it's a very Apple thing to do.
It is a very Apple thing to do. And then with how huge the trackpad is now, I mean, I can see it.
Yeah. I can see a pen being used on it. I don't know why they haven't done that yet. Apple Pencil integration with the trackpad.
I mean, then I feel like they're also trying to save off for the touch MacBook Pros.
So. I don't think there will ever be a touch Apple MacBook Pro.
Dude, I feel like it's possible. I feel like now more than ever, because we've said so many things over the years. Oh, it's never going to happen.
But yeah, I know. Yeah, it's never going to happen, but it always happens. Apple is probably the most unpredictable and actual innovator. Like, shut the fuck up, people who say they're not innovators. They do innovate.
They're do also.
Leading in,
the dude who's now I don't know, is he the president या पता नहीं क्या, the new बंदा यार कौन है वो जिसने last वाला Tim Cook. The dude genuinely knows what he's doing. Yeah, he genuinely knows what he talks about. And he looks super passionate about it. He looks
Apple
super
is a corporation. They're gonna do things we hate. Every big company is gonna do things we hate. But as a corporation of the leading technology, they're doing stuff better than every other competitor. And the only reason we hate Apple is because no other company can catch up to them. We don't have an AirPod standard throughout Windows. We don't have a ecosystem standard to any other OS. It's not. We don't have the WM type connections for other devices. It's ludicrous how we still don't have this, and how it's not standard amongst the industry.
People always complain about Apple doing really dumb, risky stuff, and then later on, a lot of these other companies do the exact same thing. People complained about iPhone taking out the headphone jack, and that literally started happening a year or two down the line with OnePlus phones, and then even some Samsung phones down the line as well, right? So it's weird that people do complain about these things.
Yeah, but that's only because Apple was the leading.
Exactly, right? So Apple sets a trend, regardless of whether it's smart or not. They set a trend, and then people eventually end up following it. So, granted, Apple isn't perfect. No one is. Not even just a company. No one is perfect, right?
No corporation is. Every corporation is evil. You need to keep that.
They're all terrible. No, they are terrible. Capitalism is terrible.
Yeah.
But they do some stuff good. They do it really well. Final Cut, beautiful. The new M1 Max, beautiful. The iPhone 12 Pro, if I could afford it, so beautiful. But they're doing some stuff really, really well. I need to sell at least one kidney.
Yeah.
One kidney.
Yeah, I feel like I need to plug this in as well. Yeah, I feel like I need to plug this in as well. I wasn't a fan of the MacBooks, and it was obvious now what they were trying to do with the MacBook bodies. They kept making them slimmer, thermal throttling, and all that stuff. So now we know that was all in preparation for the M1 Max. And I can proudly say the M1 Max are worth every single cent. They are the first Apple product I can say that about. Apple laptops that I can say that about. Because
it's interesting you
everything before that was...
Sorry, continue. Yeah, go. And then I'll go back.
No, you go on. I don't know where I was going with it. Continue.
So it's interesting that you mentioned thermal throttling with like the newer generation of MacBooks, right? So I was working with my aunt very recently on a project. She's also a professional photographer, Rushna Fatma. So she has a very old MacBook. I believe it's even the 2012 version. That's the one that last had the disk drive, right? Unless I'm mistaken.
CD drive, yeah. No, it wasn't 2014, 2015. Disk model was the last one.
I'm not sure which version it is.
2015 was when they switched without it.
So she's working
I get that.
Right next to me. She has Photoshop running, multiple other stuff running in the background. So that thing didn't heat up once. And then my MacBook, a 2017
Yeah, because
MacBook
it had the
Pro,
body to do it. Yeah.
And it's insane.
Yeah, it's because it had the body to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, I keep interrupting you. It's the
latency
here. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that it had the body to do it. Now we know they just thinned it up so that they would force you to buy the M1 Max, because that's what those new Apple bodies with the butterfly keys and stuff is designed for. Because it only works with those chips in it. Because with an Intel chip in it, it just doesn't provide enough cooling. And don't even get me started on Ryzen, which has a higher temperature than Intel.
I mean, I feel like everything just points to things being controversial at best in the start, eventually getting normalized, and then becoming the industry standard. That's the sort of thing that Apple has been doing for the longest time now. Okay, they start off controversial, it becomes a little normalized, and then before you know it, it's like the biggest thing ever. I don't know if that's what's going to happen with these headphones as well, but who knows, man.
Yeah. So talking about efficiency, can I plug in a topic that I would personally like to put in here?
Go for it. I know you've been itching to since the start.
Yeah, I've been itching to say it. So talking about efficiency, Cyberpunk 2077 opened up at 5 a.m. yesterday, which is why I look like this. I haven't slept. I've been playing it all night.
Okay, so give us your first impression.
The game... Yeah, so I can tell you positively, without a doubt, this game is absolutely, utterly broken. It's fucking broken. It has so many bugs. It has so many T-poses. It has so many broken mechanics. Like, the game itself is great, but this is worse than Skyrim at its launch. This game, we always throw the term, this game was unfinished and stuff like that. This feels like I'm playing a development build.
No, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding. This game is, honest to God, that broken. I'm here. Let me drive you through my glitches. Okay, I start up the game. Within 5 seconds of the character created, the hair renderer fails, and I collect hairstyles. So
Oh my
yeah,
lord.
so I do it again, and I finally get game working. And they had this weird glitch that if I press Q to rotate the character, my mouse would just go. What? I don't know what that was about, but fine. All right, I accept it. So I go play the game, and I'm normally and the starting cutscene. This I played on Nomad Life Pad. So this sheriff comes into the window. It's like, don't you think you should need to tell the sheriff a visit? And now he's Steve Meyer conversation, and this game is broken. I'm driving through the bloody street, and the pop-in is so bad. I ran over someone, looked around. Thank God nobody saw it. Drove again, literally 2 meters apart. Someone popped in front of me, and I hit him as well.
What on earth?
Yeah, this game is broken. And to anyone that is looking to buy this game, I will say this: the game is great. The game has a nice story. I've been playing it all day. But the number of bugs is worse than Skyrim. No day one patch is gonna fix this. Hold off from buying it. Wait for another month or so.
Good God, that's just depressing, man. With how much this game has been hyped up, that's just depressing.
Everyone is review bombing anyone who talks about the bugs, but the reason they're talking about the bugs so much is because it's actually that much. Look, we both played Skyrim on the Xbox 360. I don't think we saw that many bugs, even though that game is notoriously known for being broken. This is actually 5 bugs every 10 minutes or something.
Oh, good God. That's borderline unplayable. Well, borderline is unplayable.
Yeah. And the worst part is the performance. I'm playing on 1080p with a GTX 1060 that they say can run the game. And I'm getting 20 frames a second. It's bad. And I saw PS4 base gameplay right now. The game's in-game resolution is rendering at 480p.
That's depressing.
That's depressing. The game is broken. I thought my YouTube player was broken. So I kept trying to click on 1080p. Nope, it's the game that's broken. So
wow.
Yeah. So let's just talk about a little good so I don't get dislike bombed to all hell, because that seems to be a thing that's happening nowadays. The game's great. If you like Deus Ex, the original one, it's great. So the way the game works is that you create your own character. And what you have to do is play it as an immersive sim. You can go into a building, you can either talk your way out of a problem, you can hack your way out of a problem, you can fight your way out of a problem. It's kind of like that. And the amount of options that there are is tremendous. The gunplay is great. I will say the crafting system is completely useless. But other than that, the game's fun. So if you can get over bugs, buy it. But if you can't, wait for it.
Awesome.
It's just shameful because this game is meant to be an immersive sim. So you are meant to be immersed into this world, and you can't do that with the amount of bugs that there are. All right, my plugin's gone, my rant is gone, and let's continue.
All right, that I feel like was a very productive conversation. And for one, I'm hoping we didn't go on for an obscene amount of time like we did the other day.
No. I think we went for a short time this time. Yeah, it was a much more compact episode because this was like more of a quick response thing to the Apple thing. So
yeah, and then I feel like also the fact that I structured the conversation for once actually helped. So I think we need to structure.
Although I did like when we were like branching off in the previous one. So if we have time and we don't have a topic to talk about, we'll just do those branching paths because they turned out to be amazing.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love doing that.
Hope you guys liked the podcast. I have to go in a bit, so I'm going to plug in my exit.
Awesome. So thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Thank you so much for joining in, and we will see you guys for the next episode. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.